So total phase shift of 180 degree is required from the feedback circuit. Okay, so each RC section is designed to provide a feedback of 60. So 60 plus 60 plus 60, total it is 180. But in practice, the sections do not provide a phase shift of exactly 60 degree. However, they are able to give the phase shift of total 180 degree is required from the feedback network. So that is able to give from this circuit. So then we are finding the loop gain. Loop gain is given by A beta from the AC equivalent circuit, which is shown in the next diagram. So in AC equivalent circuit, what we are doing here, this circuit we are simplifying. So however these two resistances are in parallel, so now we will equate it as RD dash. So RD dash is nothing but parallel combination of RD and this RD. Okay. So and then this current source will replace into voltage source. So voltage source is nothing but V is equal to I into R. This current source into this resistance RD dash. So you can see here. So now the current source is replaced as voltage source. For a voltage source we are connecting a equivalent resistance RD dash. Rest of the circuit is kept as it is, where RD dash is parallel of these two resistances. Okay. So this voltage source value is RD dash into that current source value. The current source value was GM into VI. Say GM into VI. And note down the output voltage VF is I3 into R. VF is the current flowing through this branch is I3, so I3 into R. Okay. So now we have a 3 loops. We can apply mesh analysis and write the three equations. Mesh analysis for the first loop, or we can write the KVL for first loop. This is a KVL expression for first loop. This is the KVL expression for second loop. This is the expression for third loop, which is resulted from these three loops. Okay. Next, what is VF? As we noted, VF is nothing but the current flowing through here is I3 into R. Okay. So next, the loop gain A beta is found by output by input. So output is VF, input is Vin. So how we are obtaining this? Using the above equations, above 4 equations, and simplifying. So this is the simplified expression what we are obtaining. So this is the simplified expression. So what is this alpha? Alpha is equal to 1 divided by omega RC. See here all these expressions are in terms of R, SC. Okay. So here we are just writing alpha as omega, alpha as 1 divided by omega RC. So also as loop gain is a real quantity. Okay. So here we have expressed in terms of imaginary terms. So as loop gain is a real quantity, so we'll equate this imaginary term to 0. It is a complex quantity. As it is a real, this imaginary term to be 0. So imaginary term is nothing but alpha cube minus 6 alpha is it equated to 0, which is nothing but this alpha, this cancels. So alpha square is equal to 6R. Alpha is what? 1 divided by omega RC. If we substitute that, so omega square R square C square is equal to 1 by C. Then the frequency of the oscillation. So omega is expressed in radian. If you want omega, so what we will keep? 1 divided by 6 into R square C square. If we take square root, okay, so it is 1 divided by square root of R square is R, C, square root of 6 is root of 6. Okay. So if we want frequency in hertz, so we'll 2 pi term gets added. So therefore oscillation frequency is given by F naught, that is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi RC under root of 6. Okay. Then the equation more that is, if you are interested in taking the magnitude of this loop gain A beta, so it is given as the magnitude is, so it is GM RD dash, okay, right, divided by the magnitude which is equal to 29. So here So therefore the loop gain is equal to, so magnitude means we are neglecting the sign. So numerator what is that? GMRD dash. Denominator what is there? We are not considering this imaginary term. Imaginary term is 0. 1 minus 5 alpha square. What is alpha square? Alpha square value is 6. Okay. So 6 5s are 30. So 1 minus 30 is nothing but 29. So the loop gain A beta is nothing but GMRD dash divided by 29. So we applied magnitude, that's why we are neglecting the negative sign. So we know that A beta is greater than 1 for sustained oscillations. Hence GMRD dash is greater than 29. So usually this gain is greater than 1 for sustained oscillation. Therefore if it is greater than 1, then what happens if we send this 29 to that side? So always this GMRD dash must be greater than 29. Then the voltage gain of the FET amplifier is given as, so voltage gain magnitude of A is nothing but GMRD dash, and therefore voltage gain must be greater than 29, or beta is equal to 1 divided by 29 we can say. So we can say that gain of the FET amplifier must be at least 29 to sustain the oscillation. It must be 29 to sustain the oscillation, the value 29. So the next topic is the LC and crystal oscillator. Okay, so we have a inductance, we have a capacitance, the oscillator which is formed by these two combination L and C. Okay, so we have two common LC tuned oscillator. First circuit what you are seeing is a Colpitts oscillator, and the second one is a Hartley oscillator. Okay, so here the parallel of the two capacitance is connected in parallel with L. So here the two inductances combination are connected in parallel with C. So that is the difference between these two. Rest all is same. Here R is there, here also R is there. So here the two capacitance combination are connected in parallel with this L. Here two inductance are connected in parallel with this C. C is connected in parallel with these two, L is connected in parallel with these two. So next, the figure shows the two commonly used LC tuned oscillator. They are known as Colpitts and Hartley oscillator. Both utilize a parallel LC circuit connected between collector and base with a fraction of tuned circuit fed to the emitter. So this feedback is achieved by the way of capacitive divider in the Colpitts oscillator here, and by way of inductive divider in the Hartley oscillator. So here in the Hartley oscillator, which is inductive divider, here it is a capacitive divider. To focus attention oscillator structure, the bias details are not shown. So in both the circuits, the resistor R models the combination of losses of inductance and the total resistance of the oscillator and output resistance of the transistor. The frequency of oscillation is sufficiently low, we can neglect the transistor capacitance, and frequency of the oscillation is determined by the resonant frequency parallel tuned circuit. So now we are determining this resonance frequency of parallel tuned circuit. For Colpitts oscillator, we have the resonant frequency omega naught as 1 over square root of L into C1 C2 divided by C1 plus C2. Okay, it's for Colpitts oscillator. So these two oscillator. Okay, so here we'll write it as what? L in combination with C1 C2. They are connected in like this. Okay, so C1 C2 divided by C1 plus C2 into the CL. So next, similarly, the resonance frequency for Hartley oscillator is given by 1 divided by square root of L1 plus L2 into C. Okay, for this circuit 1 divided by L1 plus L2 into C. So the ratio L1 by L2 and C1 by C2 determine the feedback factor, and thus must be adjusted in conjunction with the transistor gain to ensure that oscillator will start. So this ratio L1 by L2 and C1 by C2, it determines the feedback factor and must be adjusted in conjunction with transistor gain. Okay, to determine the oscillation condition for the Colpit oscillator, we replace the transistor with equivalent circuit. So we need to determine the oscillation for Colpit oscillator. So what we are doing, we are writing a equivalent circuit of the Colpit. This is a Colpit oscillator. So here we are writing a equivalent circuit of the small signal equivalent circuit of the Colpit oscillator. Okay. So this is the small signal circuit of the Colpit oscillator. Okay. So next, the node equations at the transistor collector circuit. Node C is given. So here the node C, okay, one current which is leaving. What is that current? Yes, C2 V pi. Another current which is leaving is GM V pi. So another current flows through this RL, another current flows through this C1. Okay. So we have 4 terms. So these 2 terms are directly. So this is one through the inductor combination, one through the resistance and capacitance parallelly connected. Okay. So here V pi is not equal to 0. So it is eliminated from this expression. V pi we are taking common and send it to the other side. Okay. So and then simplifying. So taking the LCM and rearranging, we are getting this expression. Then substituting S is equal to J omega. So if we substitute S is equal to J omega in above expression, which results in this. Actually, so all this derivation is not for your syllabus, but anyhow we need to learn. So without the equation, there is nothing to learn in this topic. Okay. So just practicing there. So they are clearly given, no derivation for these 2 circuits. So next, the cutoff frequency is equal to 1 divided by, for Hartley, that is for oscillation to start, both real and imaginary part must be 0. Equating the imaginary part to 0 gives the frequency of oscillation as this. So equating this imaginary part to 0, this is a J term. So if we are equating this to 0, so we are obtaining the cutoff frequency omega naught as this simplification. Okay. So similarly, equating the real part to 0, we will get C2 by C1 as GM into R. Okay. So next, so condition can be stated from the equivalent circuit. So where this, how should be this GM G2? So GM R must be greater than 2 C2 divided by C1 for sustained oscillation. So as the oscillator grow in amplitude, the transistor's non-linear characteristics reduce the effective value of GM and correspondingly reduce the loop gain to unity, and thus sustaining the oscillation. For sustaining oscillation, we need to have this condition. Okay. So next, the complete circuit for a Colpit oscillator. This is a complete circuit. So there we have got a simplified circuit. Here you can see everything, that is with the transistor, it's divided circuit RB1 and RB2. So here the tank circuit, L in combination with C1 and C2. Okay. So this is a complete circuit for the Colpit oscillator. So then now the last topic in this module is crystal oscillator. So this is also the way the derivation is not required, but however we'll discuss as nothing is there to study if derivation is kept. Okay. So what is crystal oscillator? A piezoelectric crystal such as a quartz exhibit electromechanical resonance characteristics that are very stable and highly selective. This circuit symbol is shown in the figure and its equivalent circuit is also shown. So it is a piezoelectric crystal we are using. Okay. The resonant properties are characterized by large inductance L and the small series capacitance Cs. Okay. and the series resistance R representing a quality factor Q. Okay, so what is the quality factor? Q omega L by R. So that can be high as few 100,000 parallel capacitance CP. So this quality factor, so they are discussing, must be high. Okay, then the capacitor when compared with the parallel capacitance CP, then the capacitor CP represents the electrostatic capacitance between the two parallel plates of the crystals. Note that CP is always much greater than CS. So here lies here CP, it's very much greater than your CS. This is parallel capacitance CP, this is series capacitance CS, which is connected in series with inductance L and the small resistance R. Okay, so here comes the circuit symbol. This is a circuit symbol for crystal oscillator. So what is a crystal oscillator? How is the circuit? It is shown here. It has two capacitance, one resistance and one inductance. Okay, so now the third diagram shows, this is equivalent circuit, this is circuit diagram, first one. Figure C is the crystal reactance versus frequency. So this is x axis, it is frequency, it is crystal reactance. Okay, so where they have shown here inductive reactance, so this part is inductive reactance and this is capacitive reactance. Okay, so inductive reactance increase after Ws, okay, right, and capacitive reactance decrease. Okay, right. Since the quality factor is very high, we may neglect the resistance and express the crystal impedance. So we are representing a crystal impedance as Z of S is equal to this expression. Crystal impedance is given by this expression. Okay, so again it is simplified to obtain in this form. Okay, so here the crystal oscillator has two resonance frequencies, a series resonance Ws and a parallel resonance Wp, where the series resonance omega S and omega P, where the series resonance omega S is given by this expression, omega P is given by this expression, and we are writing Z as, okay, impedance of the circuit is given by this expression. Okay, so this is a crystal oscillator using CMOS inverter. So this circuit is here CMOS inverter, PMOS, NMOS, that's why QP and QN. Okay, here we are connected one resistance RF, this is R1. So here we are connecting a crystal oscillator and the two capacitances are connected. Okay, so the resulting circuit will oscillate the resonance frequency of crystal inductance L with a series equivalence of CS and this combination. Since CS is much smaller than three other capacitance, it will be dominant, and this frequency is given by 1 divided by under root of L into CS. Okay, it is equal to omega S. In addition to basic Colpitts oscillator, variety of configuration exists for crystal oscillator. Okay, so apart from this basic Colpitts oscillator, there are many other crystal oscillator are also available. So this circuit is one of the combination. Okay, one of the popular configuration. Okay, here RF determines the DC operating point in the high gain region of the CMOS inverter. So RF